Everyone says that drinking isn't scary. What's scary are the memories after getting drunk. I got drunk and sent a message to my ex-girlfriend, asking if she wanted to get back together. But my ex-girlfriend started a live stream and asked her viewers, "My ex wants to get back with me. Should I say yes?" The online audience instantly turned into relationship experts. "Don't agree. He's just playing with your feelings." She asked again, "Then does it mean he still likes me?" Someone replied, "Don't be naive. Your ex is just trying to string you along." She responded, "If he's trying to string me along, doesn't that mean he still cares about me? Why wouldn't he try to string along someone else?" Then the viewers retorted, "Don't be stupid. He's just messing with you." I saw those comments and realized, I had messaged the wrong person. When I sobered up, I was stunned. My manager called me, yelling, "Get online, right now." Social media had exploded. I can't believe my eyes. Trending topics about me and her were everywhere. Ethan Walker and Sophie Brooks dominated the hot search feed. I hurried online and found a video of her talking about me. In the video, she was asking her fans, "Does he really still care about me?" The audience's comments were brutal. "He's just toying with your feelings. He's only teasing you." I couldn't believe I had caused such a mess by accident. "Your ex is trying to win you back." At that moment, Sophie Brooks finally broke down. "He's not just trying to win me back. Don't be fooled by appearances. He only sent a short message, 'Let's get back together.'" But even those few, straightforward words show his sincerity. How could anyone say he's just toying with me? Even if he is trying to win me back, it's because he still cares about me. Why wouldn't he try to win over someone else if he didn't? If he's trying to win me back, am I wrong for wanting to say yes? Everyone's overreacting. Alright, blind love really is terrible. I don't want to waste another second on her. Sophie Brooks, wake up. You're a triple award-winning actress. Why would you stay stuck in this old relationship? But wait, this profile picture, I've seen it before online. And look at their old messages. That guy mentioned the high-end Gucci suit she wore on the red carpet. She had to give it to him. At that event, he was the only one wearing a Gucci suit. Wow, the details were insane. Finally, I understood why my name ended up on the hot search. The eyes of the internet are truly sharp. Under the watchful eyes of millions, Sophie Brooks sat upright, typing on her phone. After a while, she just stared at the screen, motionless. The viewers online quickly encouraged her. I could feel she was on the verge of breaking down. Even her close friends who managed her charity fund looked disappointed. Honestly, my face wasn't even as pale as the screen of Sophie Brooks's phone. When the video ended, my hands trembled as I opened her message. Her reply from last night said, "Seeing you last night, I really wanted to get back together. I'm willing to sacrifice a little. I don't like you just because of habit, it's because we've been in love for so long, you know that. I'm usually calm, but if it's not for marriage, then love is just a game. I checked the calendar, next week looks good. I plan to propose next week. Next week would be the perfect time for an engagement. On the 3rd of the following month, we would get married. I've even thought of a name for our child, Rosie's Walker. Where are you? Why aren't you saying anything? Please don't joke with me. I'm just a sensitive, fragile girl. If you don't want to break up with your current girlfriend, I can be the third party." It was Sophie Brooks. At that moment, I finally understood why she cried like her heart was breaking in that video. I shakily typed, "If I said I messaged the wrong person, would you believe me?" Suddenly, a video call came through. When I answered, it sounded like a pot of boiling water whistling. The noise was too loud, and I had to hang up immediately. The pot cried even harder, but strangely, I felt a sense of peace. I had just watched a film starring Sophie Brooks. People were criticizing her online non-stop. A call interrupted me. It was her assistant. When I answered, her voice sounded awkward. Sophie Brooks drank a lot tonight and cried like fireworks during New Year's Eve. She's a little more sober now, but she refuses to leave. She only reacts when we mention your name. Mr. Ethan Walker, would you be available? Her voice sounded so pitiful, like a worker pleading with a difficult boss. I couldn't help but soften. My voice grew gentle. If I come over right away, would that help? Just as I agreed, I suddenly heard Sophie Brooks's crying voice over the phone. No. I won't allow you to like Ethan Walker. If you like him, I'll cut your salary. Ethan Walker is mine. I must marry him, even if I'm just a concubine. She sobbed uncontrollably, leaving me at a loss. When I arrived, she immediately clung to me like a drowning person finding a lifeline. I nodded at her and glanced toward the sofa. There she was. Slumped on the couch, her hair covering her eyes, her whole body seeming to be swallowed by darkness. I couldn't bear to see her like that. I approached slowly. She was half drunk, half asleep. I gently patted her shoulder. Sophie Brooks, let's go home. She finally opened her eyes, dazed and hoarse. I don't have a home anymore. Ethan Walker isn't there. No place feels like home anymore. Her red-rimmed eyes against her fair skin made her look even more heartbreakingly fragile. Her soft pink lips pressed tightly together, ready to cry again. Sensitive, I quickly placed my hand over her mouth. Behind me, the young assistant gave me a silent thumbs up and mouthed, "How did you know she was about to cry?" I stayed calm. It's nothing. I decided to take her home myself. But when I turned around, the assistant had already disappeared. Sophie Brooks once told me, "My new assistant is very perceptive. They can tell who really pays the bills just by looking." That really hurt a little. I called someone to help me move her, but she stubbornly refused to get out of the car. Looking out the window at the house, she raised her hand, "This isn't my home." I fought the urge to shake her awake. I was about to drag her down when, under the dim streetlights, I saw her tear-filled eyes. Silent, yet overflowing. At that moment, my heart twisted painfully with sweetness and sorrow. She whispered, "Besides me, who else do you want to get back with?" "I don't want anyone but you. Anywhere without you isn't home." I avoided her gaze, trying to say something comforting. "Your father would be sad to see you like this." But it didn't work. She kept crying. "I just want to be with you." Her tears were like pear blossoms in the rain, delicate, beautiful, heartbreaking. The smell of alcohol on her was strong, yet her feelings were so clear and persistent. In the end, I gave in and took her to my place. She glanced out the window and muttered, This is my home. Ethan Walker, you finally found my home." A bittersweet smile rose on my lips. I had indeed fallen for her again, unable to resist her. I let her sleep on my bed, just like when we were still together. Drunken, she still obediently followed my instructions, washing up, changing into her old pajamas. She looked much more relaxed now. Sitting on the bed, she looked at me. I asked, "What's wrong?" She beckoned me over. Like an obedient puppy, I stepped closer. She was acting cute but looked serious. Back when we were together, she always insisted on exercise before sleeping. I sat up straight and rejected her. "If you drive, you don't drink. If you drink, you don't drive. You've drunk tonight." She pouted, looking pitiful, and moved closer to me. I softened. Unexpectedly, she grabbed my hand, and when I was distracted, she raised her head and kissed me. "You can't drive, but hugging is okay, right?" Her kiss was just as sweet as before, pulling me back into the days of passionate love. We couldn't stop kissing. Only then did I realize. falling in love also requires strength. When I was dazed, Sophie Brooks suddenly became bolder, pulling me closer, as if trying to erase everything else from my mind. I wrapped my arms around her neck. At that moment, I finally understood what it meant to be infatuated. The moment I woke up, regret instantly flooded me. I hurriedly said, "You should leave. Don't let the paparazzi catch us." I felt a little embarrassed, not daring to look at her, not daring to meet her gaze. As if facing the accusing eyes of a man who had been careless. She stared at me intently, her gaze frank and burning. "I almost couldn't stay calm," she said, looking aggrieved. "Ethan Walker, I've lost my innocence. You must take responsibility for me." I reflexively retorted, "What do you mean by innocence? Haven't we already lost it when we fell in love?" But she grew even more determined, "All the more reason for you to take full responsibility for me." I chose not to answer, dragging her out as quickly as I could. A knock on the door made me itch with unease. When I opened it, the person standing there wasn't who I had expected. She was still the same, cold expression, but when she saw me, she forced a small smile. She was my ex-girlfriend, Chloe Bennett. She started talking about getting back together. At the same time, slow footsteps echoed behind me, and my heart leapt into my throat. Perhaps feeling the need to be more serious. Chloe Bennett changed her tone. "You mentioned getting back together a few days ago. I've thought about it for a long time and came today to give you my answer." Before she could finish her sentence, the door slammed shut right in her face. Before I could react, Sophie Brooks had already closed the door and turned around, her voice filled with anger. "Getting back together? Absolutely not. You're not allowed to get back with her." Seeing me stay silent, her eyes turned red. She looked at me, full of grievance, and started complaining, "There's not a single good woman in this world. Don't go back to her. She's not a good person." I raised an eyebrow. "Then what about you?" She nodded naturally, "I'm the exception. And you should send the 'getting back together' message to me first before you send it to her. To show that she's not your first choice." "I am." Her illogical reasoning made me waver slightly. Just then, another knock came at the door. This time, Sophie Brooks reacted even faster. Before I could open it, she rushed over like the host of the house. Facing Chloe Bennett calmly, she took the coat she handed over, my coat, which I had left behind. Chloe Bennett's gaze was sharp and intense like the summer sun. I awkwardly smiled and said, "Thanks, sorry to trouble you." She smiled gently, "Ethan Walker, you don't need to be so polite with me." Next to me, Sophie Brooks's eyes could practically drill 2 holes through someone. I forced a few more polite words and quickly sent her away. The atmosphere between us was so heavy it felt ready to explode. As soon as the door closed, a small figure blocked my path. Sophie Brooks's eyes sparkled. She grabbed both my wrists and pinned me against the door. "Ethan Walker, I'm jealous. Very jealous. Extremely jealous. She's not good enough for you." So this was seduction? I tried to suppress a laugh. "And you?" "Of course, I'm a movie queen. Whatever type you like, I can become that. A different person every day if you want. Please get back together with me. Don't look at her anymore, look at me. I'm worth more." She enthusiastically introduced herself, then leaned in closer. "Please, come back to me. I want to take you home to meet my parents. Let's get married immediately, okay? I'm not bad. I can even proactively bring you your coat, so you won't have to come back for it." At that moment, it felt like a bucket of ice water had been poured over me. All the ambiguous emotions instantly vanished. I pushed her away, stuffed her belongings into her hands, and said, "Sophie Brooks, we're not getting back together. Let's pretend last night never happened. From now on, let's not meet again." I was afraid that every time I saw her, I'd soften and be drawn to her all over again. Life is unpredictable. Some things are hard to say, even harder to do. That breakup was not a pleasant one. I didn't even reply to Chloe Bennett's texts. Just let them sit there in my phone. I thought I wouldn't see Sophie Brooks again, or if I did, there would be no more connection between us. But not long after, I attended a party. And unexpectedly ran into Chloe Bennett and her first love. I quietly left, trying hard not to look at them. But Chloe Bennett noticed me. She called out my name and waved. Even her first love turned to look at me. I lowered my head and pretended not to hear. She walked toward me quickly. Everyone's eyes seemed to fall on us, curious about our relationship. After all, Chloe Bennett was the daughter of an influential family, while I was just a third-rate actor. She softly asked, "Why didn't you reply to my texts? Or even respond when I said hello?" I didn't look at her because I didn't want to answer. I had been drinking. At that moment, I finally reflected on what she had once said. She said she couldn't marry the man she loved the most, and I didn't have anyone I loved most either. So why not try being together? She even said she'd manage her private life better, help me if needed. At the time, I really did consider it. After all, I was nearing 30, and my family was urging me to settle down. But now, I didn't want to anymore. Chloe Bennett turned to look at her first love and said, "Back then, when we were together, everything was fine. Now that he's back, you're giving up?" "He's married now," I said. Even if I still had feelings, I wouldn't force it. I shook my head. Back then, when I fell for Chloe Bennett, she still had lingering feelings for her first love. Now, her first love was married, but she just wanted to separate them. Meanwhile, I had only wanted to make Sophie Brooks give up on me. And I succeeded. Her first love, now married, no longer had deep feelings for her. He actively approached Chloe Bennett, even provoking me a few times, as if to show how much she loved him. But I wasn't fooled. In the end, he cried miserably. That day, Chloe Bennett stayed by her first love's side because they hadn't contacted in a while. In the end, I simply called and said, "She's still a little girl inside. Don't be too harsh on her. Today she wasn't with you, she came to find me and cried her heart out. Her friends didn't mean any harm. Everything was her fault. She just didn't know how to handle her emotions properly. She tried using another relationship to escape this one. She couldn't even manage her relationships with her ex and her current boyfriend properly. I realized we really weren't meant to be. I had no intention of spending my life with her. So I suggested we break up. Unexpectedly, after we broke up, she seemed to wake up. Realizing her past mistakes, seeking me out repeatedly, even cooling things off with her first love. Recently, she had even suggested getting back together. After much thought, I wavered a little. That night, I drank heavily alone. Ryan Cooper told me I had to leave this relationship behind. But I still cried uncontrollably, even sent a "let's get back together" message to Sophie Brooks. And that led to a series of laughable, ridiculous events. After that, Chloe Bennett didn't understand why I said it was all her fault. She also didn't understand why I kept holding on to the past. After all, her first love hadn't seriously hurt me. Even sincerely apologized later. Why couldn't I just let it go? She asked me for the reason. I answered, "You're still asking me why." That's exactly the reason. I should have been the one asking her why. This relationship was just a mutually beneficial cooperation. Now it was over. Why couldn't she let it go? She gripped my hand tightly, her eyes a little panicked. "Tell me, maybe I can change. Ethan Walker, give me one more chance, okay? I don't want it to end like this." Everyone around seemed to be watching this drama unfold. I frowned. Chloe Bennett, let's not contact each other again. Let go now. But she wouldn't listen. Then, a hand from beside me reached out, pulled her hand away without hesitation, and a familiar cold voice said, even if you had 100 chances, it would still be the same. Still clinging to your ex, still begging for chances with your current boyfriend. Oh no, ex-boyfriend now. If you had known how to cut ties cleanly with your ex, would things have come to this? I didn't know if she was defending me or mocking me. I silently lowered my head, trying to minimize my presence. In my heart, I thought, that's it, it's over again today. Tomorrow, the manager will surely call and blame everything on me. Before long, Sophie Brooks pulled my hand and led me out of the hall. I turned back to look at the delicious food at the party. I hadn't even tasted a single bite. What a loss. But when Sophie Brooks saw me looking back, her face darkened even more. You're still thinking about that damn girl? She and her ex obviously haven't cut ties. If you can like her, why can't you like me? She kept questioning me, her voice getting louder with each sentence, startling me. I lowered my head closer to look into Sophie Brooks's reddened, tearful eyes. She deliberately turned her face away, not wanting me to see. Even though I knew it wasn't good. Her tears were truly a form of temptation to me. Finally, I understood why powerful female CEOs were so obsessed with stubborn, good-looking boys. But at the same time, I felt lost. Sophie Brooks silently cried, not making a sound, her stubbornness growing even stronger. A slight stirring rose in my heart. The little deer inside me started running wild, but I killed that deer immediately, not letting unrealistic thoughts grow. I took out a tissue and said, let's go outside. Don't let anyone see. She looked at me, stubborn, I'm not afraid of being seen. What are you afraid of? I tried to pull my hand back, but she grabbed it, letting me wipe her tears. She looked fierce but had no strength at all. Ethan Walker, can you please pay more attention? Stop focusing on those trashy girls. She threw out another sharp comment. Let's go home. In my mind, there was only Sophie Brooks spinning around and around. I pulled out a few beers from the fridge and downed several bottles in a row, pressed my lips together, and slowly muttered, it's not the trashy girls. I've only ever cared about you. As if responding to what she had said earlier, but she would never hear it. Suddenly, the room was plunged into darkness. I clenched my fists, the drunken haze slowly lifting. I hurriedly took out my phone and turned on the flashlight. Thunder rumbled outside. And I suddenly thought of Sophie Brooks again. When we were in love before, we encountered a night like this too. She knew I was afraid of the dark. She never teased me about it but comforted me instead. She would pick up her guitar and sing to me, her voice soft and charming. When I slept, she would cover me with a blanket, whispering, don't be afraid. If there's a ghost, let it take me instead. I used to laugh happily and forget all my fear. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door, accompanied by a determined voice calling my name. Ethan Walker. I thought I was hallucinating. After all, I had rejected her so many times. If it were me, I wouldn't have come back either. Sophie Brooks, an heiress from a powerful family, always standing high above others, why would she come looking for me? Still, I held onto my phone, leaned against the wall, and made my way to the door. There was still a faint smell of alcohol on me. But when my eyes met Sophie Brooks's face, I truly felt drunk. She frowned slightly. Her expression a little twisted, actually, I'm the one who's drunk. You've pushed me away so many times, but I still couldn't help worrying about you. I didn't mean to upset you at the party, I was just feeling a little sad. She sighed. That girl is so terrible. How could you still like her? At that moment, my eyes stung. I tilted my head up, not wanting anyone to see my weakness. The pressures people endure aren't like a straw breaking the camel's back all at once. It's every little thing that softens your heart bit by bit. It's not just one time she cried silently, but every time she compromised for me, every time she thought of me first. Sophie Brooks said in an even tone, "The power went out tonight, and it's raining heavily outside. I came to check on you." Before she could finish speaking, I stared at her, my gaze sharp and focused. She was right. It was raining tonight. I pulled her inside, slammed the door shut with one hand, and wrapped both arms around her neck like a snake. I was drunk, and because of that, I had lost all sense of reason. I forgot about the trivial things. I forgot that her mother once came to find me, offering a check and asking me to leave her daughter. I pressed my lips against hers, devouring her breath to prove she was still here. She had come when I needed her the most. I was drunk, but at the same time, I wasn't. She tried to push me away, and I slowly came back to my senses. Looking at her with hazy eyes, I asked, "I'm drunk. Aren't you going to kiss me?" She looked at me, her eyes blurred. "I'm afraid you'll regret it when you wake up." I kissed her again. "I won't regret it. Even if you call your mother, I won't regret it." She froze for a second, confused why her mother was suddenly mentioned, but soon, she was drawn into the kiss and forgot everything. Cold rain swept across the city. The next morning when I woke up, I was met with her intense gaze. My head ached a little. The events of last night slowly surfaced. I clenched my fists. Next time, I must not drink anymore. Last time, drinking made me accidentally send Sophie Brooks a confession message. This time, drinking made me sleep with her. Alcohol ruined all reason. Ethan Walker, if you don't take responsibility, I'll ask you right now, right here. She looked at me seriously, ready to ask if I was willing to take responsibility, if I was ready to accept her. Ready to ask, who was really drunk last night? Was I not satisfied with her? Why did I look so unhappy? "Don't bother me, I'm thinking," I muttered internally. Yet somehow, even so, I felt a hint of happiness. My mind was a mess, I needed to organize my thoughts. But she misunderstood, thinking I didn't want to be responsible. She dug through the messy pile of clothes, pulled out her phone, and not long after, my manager called me. That's when I realized what she'd done. She had posted on WBO. "There's someone who always refuses to take responsibility. If women ruled the world, that would be great." The internet exploded with comments and crazy shares. People who had a bad impression of me before were now drinking in my honor, crowning me a king. The age of female domination seemed closer than ever. I was dying of laughter. A beauty like her still had boys who couldn't reach her. If it's not Ethan Walker, who else could it be? Please, Ethan Walker, open a class, I'll kneel to listen. Ethan Walker, because we have no shame, you must take responsibility for Sophie Brooks. I felt like she was about to fall apart. Sophie Brooks was standing right in front of me, and I couldn't catch up with the speed she created rumors. How could I still save face now? All my secrets could no longer be hidden. Sophie Brooks kept staring at me, and I couldn't help but lower my head, smiling bitterly. I said I wouldn't regret it, and I'll take responsibility for you. Her eyes suddenly lit up, and she immediately turned back. "Come back. We need to sign a contract. I'm afraid you'll run away." Honestly, I thought she should be the one worried. Her mother wouldn't agree. Soon, we were once again trending on the hot search, Ethan Walker and Sophie Brooks, sweet couple at the party, sugar overload. Ethan Walker and Sophie Brooks, sounds like it's just the two of us, not anyone else. This was the law of sweetness. So, I kissed Sophie Brooks. If you saw it, you'd probably think I was drinking thick grape syrup. If you knew that I slept with her last night, you'd probably be even more excited. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message. On the screen popped up, "Ethan Walker, last night was my fault. I didn't consider your feelings. I won't make the same mistake again. Please give me another chance. I reacted quickly, trying to flip the screen over, but Sophie Brooks was quicker. She snatched the phone first, glaring at the user icon on the screen. That damned name, Chloe Bennett. She had snatched my ex when we broke up, and now she's trying to snatch my current girlfriend too? In my mind, I cursed, it's all her fault. Sophie Brooks thought I was angry with Chloe Bennett. I could clearly feel she was about to cry. Hurriedly, I covered her mouth with my hand. I couldn't bear to hear her cry again. I dared not let go, quickly explaining, I've made things clear with her. If I have no intention of getting back together, I won't contact her anymore. Sophie Brooks truly fell silent. I breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, she spoke, slowly, she really won't contact you again? Back then, she broke up with you so decisively, she said, aggrieved. I knew she lacked a sense of security and saw Chloe Bennett as a real threat, so she was on edge. I cupped her face and wiped away her tears, whispering, I'm afraid I might think thoughts I shouldn't have. I can't control myself. I just want to get closer to you. She whispered back, if you can't control yourself, then don't. Come closer to me, what's wrong with that? I couldn't help but smile sweetly. She grasped my hand, meet my parents. Now. Hurry, I don't want to wait any longer. When Sophie Brooks said it, she meant it. She immediately contacted her parents. I thought about her strict mother again and felt uneasy. Sophie Brooks held my hand tightly, refusing to let go. Gently comforting me, Ethan Walker, don't worry. My parents are very kind. Kind? I might have believed that if I hadn't met them yet. But this time, I wouldn't retreat. I took her hand in mine, firmly. I wasn't worried anymore, because with her here, she would protect me, even in front of her parents. She worriedly asked, you're not going to leave me this time, right? Remembering her crying face, I couldn't help but laugh and hold out my pinky finger, let's make a promise. If you don't let go, I won't let go either, okay? She wasn't satisfied, no. Neither of us can let go. A warm wave flooded my heart. I was still smiling when we arrived. The butlers at the Brooks family villa were busy, flowers blooming everywhere, caretakers tending carefully to the gardens and interiors. Guards patrolled the grounds. I couldn't help but glance at her. No wonder Mrs. Brooks said we were worlds apart. In the living room, her parents didn't look at me even once after I entered. Every time our gazes nearly met, they would quickly avert their eyes. They only asked about Sophie Brooks's well-being, completely ignoring my existence. Sophie Brooks frowned, sensing something wrong, and shot them a look, Mom, Dad, remember what you promised me before? Suddenly, both her parents smiled warmly. Oh, this is Sophie's boyfriend? Handsome young man. You must be hungry, right? Dinner's almost ready. The maid chimed in, there's fruit on the table. Ethan Walker, would you like anything? I smiled politely, no, thank you. Suddenly, her father glanced toward the kitchen and stood up, Sophie, come help check on dinner. Sophie Brooks didn't move. I couldn't help but laugh, Uncle, Auntie, there's no need to be so indirect. If you want to chase me away with that check again, just give it to your daughter first. Before I came, I promised her, as long as she doesn't let go, I won't either. Suddenly, Sophie Brooks stood up fiercely, her eyes blazing. You gave Ethan Walker a check to drive him away? Her parents exchanged awkward glances. Finally, her mother spoke, it was all a misunderstanding, just a misunderstanding. After her mother explained, I realized I had misunderstood so much. Back then, Mrs. Brooks came to me, handed me a blank check, and told me to fill in whatever amount I wanted, to leave her daughter. Just like a drama scene coming to life. I felt cold all over. She said we were too different, even if we stayed together, it wouldn't last. I didn't want to humiliate myself. So I accepted the check and walked away. I wasn't someone who couldn't live without Sophie Brooks. But the truth was, it was just a test. After we broke up, Sophie Brooks cried herself to near death. Uncle Brooks got so annoyed by her tears that he often scolded Mrs. Brooks, "You drove her boyfriend away. Now she cries every day till she's blind." Mrs. Brooks looked sorrowful. I just wanted to test him a little. If he passed, I planned to give him a big sum of money to live a good life with Sophie. Uncle Brooks rolled his eyes. Help her? Or just take revenge? After hearing everything, both Sophie Brooks and I fell silent. Her eyes were red, and my nose burned. She whispered, "So that's why we broke up. I'm sorry, Ethan Walker. I made you suffer so much back then. You must have felt so hopeless, right? But I didn't realize and even blamed you for abandoning me." She sobbed harder and harder. Hearing her miserable crying, I couldn't help but smile. "Don't you feel bad for me? From now on, we're never breaking up again." Later, Sophie Brooks used the company she founded to snatch many contracts away from Mrs. Brooks's company. Mrs. Brooks was furious, but it was her own fault, and she had to bear the losses. All those contracts. Sophie Brooks handed them to me personally. She said, "These are all yours, your premarital assets. No one can touch them." I couldn't help but hug her tightly, sincerely thanking her. "Because of your perseverance, we overcame everything, and finally found the light." If you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and keeps more videos coming your way. Thank you for listening.